Good afternoon. So, one of my very neat stories about dreams and dream interpretations, and I had asked my students, and they said they were okay with me telling them their stories. I will not disclose who they are. But one of the stories was I had a student in class, and usually while I take roll, it takes about 10 minutes because the system is so slow. So in that process, I usually tell my students any dreams, and then they're up for discussion, or they tell me, and they're always very forthcoming and allowing me to interpret the dreams in front of everybody. And as I tell them that I teach, and it is that I teach life, and it is through content that I do so. So we cover content, but I really teach them about life and hopefully skills that they'll be able to do. And so this is always something fun, and they usually always seek me out, whenever they have a dream and they want to interpret it. So I thank all my students, and it is because of them that I am here. So thank you very much. I will be eternally grateful to them. So, excuse me. So what happened is that I had this student, and I had her for 2 classes, and she is the most beautiful person ever, and she has the most amazing soul. And so, and she finally, I think, probably had the courage, or at this moment she had a specific dream. And so her dream was very interesting, and it's been one of the best dreams ever, and I've loved it. So her dream consisted about, it was sort of like Dante's you know 7 stages or 7 gates of hell. I can't remember what it is. And so it was very shocking for me. It's been one of the hardest dream interpretations that I've done, but I am very grateful to her. So she tells me, "Hey, Miss Edwin, I've had this horrible nightmare, where the devil comes in, and I'm calling them, this, something. She was calling the devil something, and he takes me to the underworld. We go to like these 7 levels of the underworld, and he takes me to hell, and I just can't believe it." And so she starts elaborating on her dream, and I was like, I couldn't figure it out. And so usually the way I work with my dream interpretations is that they give me a dream interpreter, and a dream interpretation. They give me the dream, and then I have to sort of talk to them somewhat, and then based on whatever it is that I gather, and I that we discuss, is because it's a discussion between both of us, right? And there's questions that I'm going to have, because everything that you have, and everything that you dream, and everything that you see in the dream is significant. So if it's possible for you to get up and write a dream, that'd be great, because later on you forget, and you don't remember the specific details, and it's all in the details. So there's things that some of my students forget, and they're very important details. So I said, "Oh my God, that's sort of like Dante's hell," and Dante, and I don't remember, I read it a long time ago, but he makes a pact with the devil, and I think his wife or his girlfriend saves him. And so it's very interesting, because in the d'Orsay, I think it is in Paris, and please forgive me if I butchered that, in the beautiful museum, they have Dante's gates of hell, and so it's beautiful. It was kind of hellish, but it was beautiful. So I've never forgotten that I saw that. I think that's where it's located. So anyway, so what happened was that I said, "Well, have you been watching a lot of like movies that are horror movies?" She's like, "Yeah, all the time." And I said, "Well, maybe that's it." And then I said, "No, give me a minute." So then I really centered it, and so what I told her, I said, "Come see me after class," because that was pretty heavy duty. So in the end, what I told her is that she was with someone very toxic. And in the dream, there was also, in addition to going to hell, part of going to hell was that she was going to die, and that they would kill her. And so it was a very horrendous dream, and I got, it was just really, really, really bad. So what I gathered was, when she came over after class, I said, "You're with someone very toxic. There's someone around you very toxic, and you have to be very careful, because there's substance abuse, there's probably alcoholism, and there's also probably, you're probably in danger. So you have to be very careful, because I want to say that you're scared for your life, and you're afraid that somebody will kill you." I said, "So you have to be very careful." And I said, "So, blessings, and please make sure that, you reflect if this is someone near you that is in this situation, because he can be very dangerous to you." So she left, right? I couldn't sleep that night. I just kept on thinking about it, and thinking about it, and thinking about it. I was just so concerned about her, so I couldn't wake up. I couldn't wait till the morning started. And so I couldn't wait for my class, because I didn't have her right away. I had her towards the middle of my classes. And so when she came in, I said, "Oh my God, I've been so worried about you." And I have some other stuff to tell you, because it's sort of, that's the way my dream interpretation works. I sort of give the initial interpretation, and then later things come and come to light as I reflect a little bit more. Excuse me. And she said, you know what, Miss Edwin, I was thinking about you too last night, and that's all I could do. And you're absolutely right. He said, it's my husband. He's in the military, and he has PTSD, I think it is, and please forgive me if I don't have those acronyms correctly, and he's going through a really bad stage. And I discussed it yesterday with him, and that's who he is, and I am, and we're on point with everything else. There's substance abuse, and I am worried for my life, and you were on point with everything else. I said, well, be very careful and make sure that you take proper precautions. And so, of course, the next day I was super worried, and she came in the next day and she told me, you know what, he's gone. He's going to take some he's going to go to counseling, and he's going to take some therapy. And so we were really, really glad. I was so worried, and I was so worried for her life, and so was she. And her dream told her, and there was names that she was calling the devil, and that's exactly what she, would call her husband as a term of endearment. And so he was seeking therapy, and one day, another day she came in, she said, you think that it'll get better? And I said, I don't think so, unless he, usually we don't do well in the relationships that we've been unless people work at it. So then later, another day she came and told me, she said, you know what, he's doing really well. He's left the house, and I'm better. And I said, good. And so that was a heavy duty interpretation, and I was so happy that I was able to help her. And through this, mediation, that she really took forth and really took to heart the interpretation and understood and reflected upon what I said. She was able to identify, of course, in her life what she needed to do, and take the proper steps and appropriate steps to be in a very safe place and be able to work on it. So now they're working on the relationship. It seems like he's doing much better, and it seems like there's a lot of love there. So that's exactly what the dreams are. They're a wake-up call. There's something that is there to advise you about something that might be off, and for you to take appropriate action, because in this case, she really feared for her life. So I thank you, and my student, thank you so much. You know who I am, and that was one of the most amazing dream interpretations I've ever done, and it is through your kindness and your openness to be able to be open to say what it was that you needed to say in class. And everybody was there, and everybody in my class was very open to respecting what the dream was, and I'm so glad that I was able to help you, and that you were able to take appropriate action. So many blessings, and that's exactly what I'm here for. Thank you so much.